What is up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Redeeming Leclerc's Legacy. Is that it? Restoring Leclerc's? I don't know. Anyway, we are back for another episode in this Leclerc series, and you can see right there, Max Verstappen is 2 points clear as we come into the penultimate race of the season. But this one's a little different, as it is a sprint race here in Brazil. It's going to be a sunny qualifying, a sunny sprint race, but the race itself will be wet and eventually get to dry in the last few laps or so. At least that's what the weather forecast is telling us. The first qualified session, pretty straightforward, and I tell you what, Q2 wasn't much different as well as we get through the first two qualified sessions pretty easily. And I tell you what, good news for this race is I fixed my brake pedals, so I shouldn't have any problems. If you did see the previous episode, you'll see in USA especially that we were having big problems with the brake, and I'll go down the straight, all of a sudden it'll just be feathering on the brake. I'll be losing straight line speed, and I think that was causing me issues as well with the grip in the wet weather scenario. So we'll find out in the race if it was actually the brake pedal or if I'm just shit in the rain. So we'll find out either way. But here we are on our final Q3 run. Currently P7, and it was a bit of a stinky first lap. I think it was a 17.6, and Verstappen was it 17? No, a 7.6, and Verstappen was running a 107.0. So Verstappen absolutely flying, 6/10 clear of us. Our first sector wasn't the greatest, so we know coming into the middle and the third sector we have to brake a little bit later, and we had to try and find time where we can. And 2.5 tenths is not a bad improvement. We know we're not fighting for pole, but we are just trying to make sure that we get within the top 3, top 4. That way, for the sprint race, we can fight for P1 with Max Verstappen. As coming out the final corner is a fantastic exit, and we gain a little bit more time. It's almost 5 tenths up. It's a purple sector 2. If we would have got that sector 1 right, we could have been on pole position. But can we take a front row start? Can we take P2? I think we just missed out, and yes, we did. We do take P3. However, Lando Norris starts on the front row with Verstappen. I don't know where he's pulling these times out from, but he's been fast pretty much all season. So Lando Norris P2, but our main rival Max Verstappen is starting on pole position for the sprint race. It is going to be medium tyres. I looked at the softs, and they were going to be completely dead by the last few laps. So everybody on the medium tyre. It's 5 red lights, and we are underway here in Sao Paulo. Lando Norris gets a brilliant start as he looks for a move down the inside of Max Verstappen. We're getting forced out wide by our teammate who sends one down the inside. I think that's Fernando Alonso as well. Alonso on our inside, and he sweeps on through. We're behind the Alpine of Fernando Alonso. Our teammate is doing his best to try and screw us over, but a bit of toe down the straight, and down the inside we go. That is a very important move, and Lando Norris doing us an absolute solid as he takes the race lead ahead of Max Verstappen. But we're right on board with Alonso. He started P6. How did he end up P3 after 2 corners? Perez got a good start but got held up behind us. Sainz just sent it on us, and so did Alonso. Alonso I can understand, but our teammate sent it on us. He's trying to help us with the... We're supposed to be trying to help us win the championship. He's actually trying to screw us over. He's like our biggest rival right now. He's worse than Max Verstappen. We saw him out in Mexico as... Oh, Alonso's going slow! Fernando Alonso! Oh my God! You can't write it. He's back in the Alpine, and there's big problems. It's just like real life. I mean... Who said F1 22 wasn't realistic? That is the most realistic thing I've seen on this game. Fernando Alonso is out of the Grand Prix. Anyway, there wasn't much going on in this sprint race, so we're kind of already on lap 9 towards the end. I was having fuel problems, though, as Lando Norris just lets his friend Max Verstappen pass. That was really weird. I don't know why he let him pass. But anyway, we were having fuel problems this whole race. Pretty much... I put too little fuel in the car, and we were having a lift and coast. Oh, Lando! What's happened to Lando? It's mechanical failures galore. Lando Norris out the race again. And I mean, it's a story of his season. Pretty much every episode, he's had a problem. He'll be fighting for the race win. All of a sudden, his car will slow down, or it'll just blow up. But there we go. Big problems for Lando. Anyway, we let Carlos Sainz here. We let Carlos Sainz go through here because we were struggling so much on fuel. You can see it's 0.1 there, but every lap, if I was going full out, it will probably go down 0.25. So I was lifting and coasting like crazy. I needed his DRS to kind of help me through it, to make sure I stayed ahead of the Mercedes at least. So we will take a P3. Max Verstappen, though, will take a P1. So we lose 2 more points to Verstappen in the championship. Our teammate is starting up there with us. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, because he has kind of been screwing us over in the previous races. So I'm not sure if I want him up there. But Verstappen takes another 2-point advantage, and he will start on pole for the race. It looks like Lando Norris was going to help us out at some point, but he's starting P19 now, and Fernando Alonso down in P20. Anyway, we're going to leave you over, and you can listen to the introductory to this race.
Grand Prix. Sebastian Vettel famously clinched his 3rd championship here in 2012, and just 4 years later, Max Verstappen treated us to one of the finest wet weather drives of all time. Interlagos, always a very special race here in Brazil. It's a 2.7-mile circuit with 9 left turns and 6 right turns for a total of 15 corners. It's a wet one today as well, so grip and visibility will be at a premium, and the drivers will need to be careful coming up the hill in Sector 3, the scene of many an accident over the years. It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. World champion Max Verstappen starts from pole position, and a very happy Carlos Sainz will start second. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Mr. Monaco, Hamilton, Daniel Ricciardo, and Ocon, Gasly, Vettel, Stroll, and George Russell. They've taken a grid penalty. Mick Schumacher, Perez, Kevin Magnussen, and Albon, Joe, Bottas, Nicholas Latifi, and Yuki Tsunoda. Fernando Alonso and Lando Norris starts from the back of the grid. And now it's time to head down to the track. Anthony Davidson is alongside me today, nice and dry up here in the commentary box. How are you, Ant? Looking forward to this race?
I'm very well, thank you. Forgot my umbrella on the way up to the box, so I'm a little bit soggy, but I'll dry out soon enough. It's going to be an interesting race in this weather, though. Obviously, your strategy changes completely once it starts raining, as overtaking is a lot easier in the wet. The focus moves away from pure aerodynamic efficiency and tyre management, and of course the driver themselves can always make more of a difference in these conditions than they can in the dry.
Okay, here we go. I know what you can do. Don't let me down.
We are ready. We are ready to take this race to Max Verstappen. It is wet conditions, and I got to be honest, I'm not the greatest in wet conditions, but new pedals, maybe I could do something here. But anyway, we're going to be focused. We're going to not make a mistake, as it's 5 red lights, and away we go. We need a good start on Verstappen. Carlos Sainz get a decent start, and actually we've got a very good start. We've found a lot of grip, as we're going to look for a move potentially around the outside of Verstappen. Sainz is through on Verstappen. He's causing carnage, and we've got around the outside of the pair of them. Carlos Sainz, what a teammate. That's why you want your teammate up on the front row with you. That is beautiful from Carlos Sainz. He basically makes contact with Verstappen. They're squabbling, and we go, thank you very much, around the outside. See you later. Verstappen down into P3. We lead the Grand Prix. It is scenes at the start of this race. How is Alonso up in a P14, by the way? Did he? I'm not sure where he started. He must have started higher up the grid then. Maybe a lot of people have penalties, but you can see we're in P1. We've got Carlos Sainz. Now, he was a great teammate at the start of the race. Now he wants to try and find a move past us. So instead of just sitting there and defending from Verstappen, he's now trying to make the life of us really, really difficult. And we're trying to just learn the track best we can, you know? We're trying to find the grip levels. I haven't raced on this track in the wet in God knows how long. And this is the first time this whole weekend. Every practice session was dry. The qualifying was dry. The sprint race was dry. And now all of a sudden, we're in super wet conditions. And I'm supposed to know exactly what I'm doing as we make a little bit of mistake. As Sainz now looks at moving around the outside. And now allows Verstappen to sweep on through. So our teammate, having a go at us, trying to overtake us, has now cost us a place, or cost him a place to Max Verstappen, and Verstappen is now going to be all over the back of us. We've got to try and hold off Verstappen while not making any mistakes this race. I don't know how we're going to do it. It's in the wet. I'm literally guaranteed a mistake, at least usually I'm guaranteed a mistake. But we've got a McLaren going slowly. You would have guessed it. It is Lando Norris. He has literally got Daniel Ricciardo's 2018 Red Bull. It's mechanical failure after mechanical failure after It's ridiculous. He just had a failure in the sprint. He couldn't even make it like 6 laps into the main race. He's done about 8 laps in total, and his car's broken down twice. I mean, that's ridiculous. So Lando Norris out of the race again. You got to feel for him because he could have been fighting for the race win. He was rapid in qualifying, rapid in the sprint race, and he could have been rapid here again in the race. But enough about Lando Norris. We don't care enough about him in the championship to be talking about him anymore. It's all about Charles Leclerc and Max Verstappen. If Verstappen beats us today, then he'll have, I don't know, what would be, it'll be like an 11-point advantage in the championship or something like that. And that is then out of my hands completely. If he goes and wins the race or even gets second in Abu Dhabi and I win the race, he'll go and win the championship or even third. So Verstappen, if he wins this race, it's one hand on the trophy pretty much, and we can't do much about it. As into the pits we go, we locked up big time coming into the pits. I mean, we almost broke the pit limiter, but through we go into the pits, chuck on the intermediate tyres, and you can see Lewis Hamilton is ahead of Max Verstappen. Go on, Lewis. Get your revenge for 2021. Hold him up for me and allow Charles Leclerc to take the championship. Hamilton, take your time coming out the pits, Hamilton. Take your time, mate. As we've got now Hamilton blocking Verstappen. This is perfect. Everything is going perfect right now on the intermediates. And I tell you what, I'm a lot more comfortable on the intermediate tyres than I am on the wet tyres. Just feeling that a little extra grip. I could actually do a solid pace on the inters. I was surprised with my really good pace on the wets. So I was proud of myself then. As we're looking at Max Verstappen. What's going on here? Hamilton fighting with Zhou Guanyu. And Verstappen is getting held up left, right and centre. Carlos Sainz now coming out of pits. Surely not. Surely not. Carlos Sainz, he's done it. The smooth operator. He's ahead of Max Verstappen. Verstappen's in the mud. If he doesn't get P2 here, if Verstappen finishes like P4, P5, it's majorly in our hands. It's going to be a huge point swing. As Sainz down the inside of Guan Yu Zhou. Oh my goodness me. Verstappen, he's losing so much ground. Look at him. He's about 1.7 seconds behind Sainz. Sainz is doing bits out here. As Hamilton goes off. Oh, I can't believe it. I can't believe it. Carlos Sainz, what are you doing? How does Verstappen get this lucky? Yeah, his wing's on. Sainz is... Oh, my God. Oh, my... There you go, Verstappen. There's a free place right there, mate. Carlos Sainz comes into the pits. That's pretty much his race over. Verstappen back up into P3. And he's one place away from getting P2. If Verstappen gets P2... There's only going to be a couple points in this championship. This could get really spicy going into Abu Dhabi. Anyway, we're on lap 20 and now lap 21. We're moving on and we're putting in some solid laps for the intermediates. And you can see now we are ready to go on to the... I don't understand this game, by the way. How does it get dry so quick? We're ready to go into the mediums. The track does not look like it's ready, but... It just is, apparently. There's grip comes from nowhere. 2 laps ago, it was chucking it down. It's still raining, for God's sake. It's not ready for dries, but on this game, it is ready for dries. So into the pits we come, and we've got Hamilton and Verstappen following us. So perfect. We didn't want either of them going an extra lap, just in case we really struggled on this outlap, because cold tyres on a semi-wet track, that is never nice. As it's a good pit stop, no problems, didn't get held up by the McLaren, and we're chilling. Now it's no more pit stops. It's pretty much a sprint race to the finish. No problems with fuel as well. We made sure we over-fueled the car because I did not want to have to lift and coast. Hamilton is becoming somewhat of a blockage to Max Verstappen. And Fernando Alonso has stayed out on the intermediates. We're ahead of Fernando Alonso. He's going to be a blockage for Hamilton and Verstappen. This has to be our race win. There is no two ways about it. It's got to be our race win. As you can see in the top left, Verstappen has got past Hamilton, and we cannot get temperature in our tyres. It's been a tragic outlap. It's been a tragic first couple of laps, and all of a sudden we've got the, I was going to say 2-time world champion. He's only 1 time in this series. The 1-time world champion breathing down our neck, and he's got DRS. The Red Bull with the super DRS are going to come flying past us. Hamilton's in the background as well to cause a bit of carnage. But here comes Max Verstappen around the outside. We try and brake late, but we can't brake late enough. The DRS was enough for Verstappen. And oh no, it's tragic for Charles Leclerc. We're trying to send it to Abu Dhabi, but if Verstappen wins and we get second, it's out of our hands. Even if we win in Abu Dhabi, all Verstappen needs is a P2, might even only need a P3, and he will take home the World Drivers' Championship. But as the laps go on, we hang on to the back of Verstappen. Hamilton has dropped away. It's between the two title challengers as we come on to the final lap of the Grand Prix. Are we going to look for a move down the inside? No, we're going to try and set ourselves up for the next DRS straight. Verstappen goes deep. He's compromising his line. And out of the corner, look how close we are to the Red Bull. We're millimeters behind. We pull alongside. We've got the inside line with a DRS. Just got a break at the right time. Down the inside of the Red Bull goes Charles Leclerc up into P1. It is huge. It is vital for the championship, and I am losing my voice. What a race this is. We were so sweaty that whole race, from the wet conditions to the dry. It's such a hard race to figure out, because especially when you pit as well, you got to figure out where the grip is, how much grip you have in the dry conditions, and it was just full focus for 45 minutes. I was so relieved that we got the move done. If we would have came second to Verstappen there, I would have been absolutely fuming. But that is huge for the championship. And what a title decider we have, by the way. I think it's only a couple points in it, maybe. But look at that. We got 31 points over the weekend. Max Verstappen takes home 27 as he won the sprint race, but we won the race that matters. And it is a 2 points difference. It's come down to the last race. It's all to play for in Abu Dhabi. Maybe we just take Verstappen out and we'll take home the championship. Or, I mean, we could do that if we want, but we're going to try and win it the proper way. I'm excited for Abu Dhabi. It has put us up for a perfect finale, and make sure you guys check it out. It's set up for the perfect finale. Anyway, let's have a look at the constructors. Yeah, let's not. All right, if you did enjoy this video, make sure you go ahead, leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.